everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danielle and this is Danielle's Books. Thanks for stopping by. This is going to be a recent reads video, and I have had quite a good start to my January reading, my 2023 reading, and I thought I'd share some of the books that I've read, or technically all of them that I've read so far this year. I have 3 to talk about, and honestly, I loved all of them, so I can't wait to talk about them. I ended up reading some not so good books a bunch in a row to end 2022. I ended up taking 2 weeks off of reading because I was like, okay, what's the point? I read 4 books in a row that were 3 stars or less. And so reading wasn't really working out for me in December. So I'm excited to have a good start to the year. So the first one I'm going to talk about, I'll have all these books linked down below. And also don't forget to subscribe to this channel because I would love to have you. And check out all the links down below. I have Goodreads, Storygraph, Instagram, Bookstagram, TikTok. I have all of Zach's information down there. The podcast is down there, and just a whole bunch of good stuff. So don't forget to check that out. And now we can get started. The first book I'm going to talk about is The Laws of the Skies. This one is by, I looked up how to say their name, and I can't remember. Gregory Courtois? I don't know. I'm sorry. This book I kind of picked up on a whim. I got it from the library. I didn't know that I was going to be reading this month. This wasn't on my TBR or anything. Like I said, I got it from the library. I heard good reviews about this on TikTok, and so I decided to read it this month. I wanted something a little bit shorter after I finished one of the other books I'm going to talk about. And this book is crazy. It's disturbing. It's, it's fast. You don't really have a chance to breathe once you get to all the action and everything. This is really short. This is like 150 pages maybe. So you're following this. There's these 12 kids, and they go on this class trip. It's a camping trip, and there's 3 adults with them. And basically, this is not a spoiler at all, but like, literally everyone dies in this book. And you just kind of see all the different ways. Some of the deaths in this book were insane. Some of them were sad how they happened. And it was just crazy. And to watch the, one of these kids, by the way, it's a class of 6-year-olds. And so that kind of makes it even worse because one of the 6-year-olds is like just terrible. And so it was fun to read. I don't know if that's like the best way to put it, but it was definitely, it kept me on the edge of my seat. Like I said, it was very disturbing. It's very graphic. And so, I would recommend this if that's something that interests you. It's a little bit more towards the extreme side of horror. So if maybe that's not your thing, then I guess I would skip this one. I gave this 4 stars, I think, on Storygraph and Goodreads. It's not totally a 5-star because there was something I didn't exactly enjoy. There was a little bit of this book that was kind of hard to believe, but that's also a spoiler. So if you want to know how I thought about that, you can always shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm usually pretty good at answering those. So the first one I have is The Laws of the Skies, and that was a 4-star book for me. So that was actually the second book that I read. And then the most recent book that I read is These Silent Woods by Kimmy Cunningham Grant. This book I had planned, I had this in my TBR for January, and I had planned to read this in a video this month that was like reading my husband's favorite books, and you'll see that for the next one. That didn't really work out because the other book I have to talk about, which if you follow me on any social media, you know what that is. And I just kind of read the book. I didn't vlog anything, so I was like, okay, this video concept is already kind of a bust, which is why my TBR was actually made the way it was, because I chose a lot of books that Zach previously loved, gave 4 or 5 stars, and so I actually did have a secret TBR kind of in the works, but it just didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. Anyway, I wanted to read this one regardless, and I loved this book so much. I gave this 5 stars, and I would really recommend it. It's very, like a winter book recommendation if that's something that you're looking for. It's very short, and this one you're following a dad and daughter who are kind of living off the grids a little bit in the woods. He is like harboring a lot of secrets about himself, and he's done some bad things in his past, and so he's kind of, like I said, off the grid. They changed their names and everything, and so you're following their journey. Usually there's one day a year where one of his friends named Jake, he comes and brings them supplies and everything to last them until the next year that he can come. He, however, doesn't end up showing up, so they kind of have to go in panic mode and figure out a way to get the supplies that they need, because obviously they need supplies to survive, and they like do not leave their house. They are literally like, they stay home, and his daughter has like never even been in a store before, so you're kind of following that journey. It was I wouldn't call this a thriller. It's definitely not that. It's suspenseful, but it's a little bit more of like maybe like a literary suspense. And the ending, I know that a lot of people say it makes them cry. It was very heartwarming, I'll say. I didn't end up crying from it, but if I were under different circumstances, I maybe would have. We were on reading sprints when I finished this, and so I was trying like not to tear up at all. So yeah, it has a heartwarming ending, and I love this book so much. This was a 5-star read, and yeah, so a 4-star and a 5-star. And then the last book I need to talk about is The Shining by Stephen King. I finally read this book. I actually I think I might have put These Silent Woods and The Shining on my, it was either on my 23 books to read in 2023, or I put it in like a 5-star prediction, something like that. I'll have to fact check that, and I can let you know, I suppose. But I finally read this. This was also going to be in that Reading My Husband's Favorite Books video. This was his favorite Stephen King book as of before a couple months ago when he read 11/22/63. You can go see his channel and hear all about that. We're actually going to be doing a whole deep dive of this book on the podcast, so don't forget to check that out down below. Actually, it should be the next podcast that's up on our podcast. We post every Monday, so check that out if you want to hear more in-depth thoughts. We usually try and keep the book or the talk spoiler-free for the first chunk, and then we'll talk about everything towards the end. But I gave this 5 stars. I really enjoyed the book. I think that if I wanted to be super, super technical, it would be like a 4.75. But that little chunk right there is only because I thought that some parts dragged on more than they maybe needed to. I was telling Zach it was kind of a slow beginning. I thought that Jack Torrance getting all of the tours of the hotel, I thought that those parts moved a little slow, and so it took me a minute to get in, but once I kind of got past that, I was fully interested and intrigued. And obviously I've seen the movie. I know that they're different from each other, and so that kind of helped me read the book because I was actually able to put faces to the names. Some of the descriptions of the characters in this book don't really follow like the characters in the actual movie, so that was a little bit weird, but it was interesting to kind of see the differences in seeing that first and then reading this. So I guess if you don't know what this is about, I feel like pretty much everyone does, but it's about the Torrance family. Jack Torrance has been fired from his teaching job, and so he is interviewing to be the winter caretaker at the Overlook Hotel, and basically his family is going to be living there during the off season, and his son Danny has the shine, and basically you're figuring out kind of what all that entails and like how powerful that is, and basically just the family's journey. It's very like a haunted house, but it's also very like locked room. They're pretty much at this hotel and a whole bunch of stuff starts happening, and when they got to the hotel, he was told like, oh, the hotel doesn't have any ghosts or secrets or anything, but you kind of see that stuff start to uncover as Jack is discovering things along his way, but also Danny being able to kind of see stuff that's happening. And so I really enjoyed this book. Like I said, I gave this 5 stars, and also this edition is really cool. This is not the edition that I read from. I actually for the first time, I read a mass market paperback. We had a whole bunch of books that we were going to list on Pango or sell back to Half Price Books, and one of them was one of these old mass market paperbacks. So I was like, you know what? I'll just read from that one because I needed something small enough to fit in my work backpack because I'm allowed to read at work. And so I just started reading from that, but I wanted, like, you know, the whole big deal when talking about it in the video. So I have started January reading 3 books, and I have 2 5-stars and a 4-star. So I'm starting off the year pretty strong, and I don't really know what to read next. Maybe you can help me out. I have a few different options, so I'll probably post a poll over on Instagram. That'll be linked down below, and I'll post that in my stories maybe like the day this video goes up, and you can vote on what my next read should be, because I have, like I said, a few different options. And also the day that I'm filming this, we're doing a bunch of come shop with me's. Zach is going to film one and I'm going to film one. So we might get some new books at the store. We have a bunch of Christmas gift cards and money. So we get to finally go, not Christmas shopping. We get to finally go book shopping. We haven't been in a Barnes & Noble in 3 months since October. So that's exciting. And yeah, that is the start of my year and my recent reads. So let me know what you've been reading recently down below. What was the first book you started off the year with? Because I'd love to know. And also don't forget to subscribe to this channel because I would love to have you, and give this video a thumbs up if you like recent reads, or if you've read any of these, comment and let me know your thoughts on them because, again, I would love to know. So don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!